All right, let's dive right in. I want to ask you something kind of fundamental. What's really the difference between, say, a rock and a giant redwood tree? I mean, we're surrounded by life all the time, but have you ever stopped to think about the universal rules that actually define it? Well, that's what we're going to find out today.
So let me ask you, how often do you really stop and look at the world just outside your window? I mean, we see it every single day, right? But today we're going to do something different. We're going to look a little closer and see all that familiar stuff through the eyes of a biologist. It's going to be a fun expedition.
Okay, so let's start right here with our immediate environment. It's this incredible, complex mix of, well, everything. You've got objects, living things, all these different elements, and they're all interacting in the same space.
I mean, just look around you right now. You'll probably see a mix of the natural world, plants, animals, maybe some water, and then there's the man-made stuff, like buildings, furniture, roads. They're all sharing the same space, but here's the kicker. They're playing by completely different sets of rules.
And that right there brings us to the big question, doesn't it? With all this stuff around us, how in the world do we tell what's truly alive? What actually makes a bird different from a rock, or a tree different from a chair? Let's start digging and uncover the clues.
So to figure this whole thing out, scientists start with a really simple but super powerful first step. They classify everything into two big groups, living and non-living. And believe it or not, that basic distinction, that's our first major clue. Now, this might seem kind of obvious, right? But it's actually pretty profound when you think about it. You've got plants, animals, and us humans all following one playbook. And then you have rocks, water, and chairs following a totally different one. The secret to defining life? It's all about understanding those two different sets of rules. See, being alive means you have to follow this special biological code. It's a set of characteristics that every single living thing shares. So, what do you say we start cracking that code? Let's uncover these secrets one by one. Okay, first up, let's talk about one of the most basic secrets of all, food, or, nutrition. And honestly, there is no better place to start than with plants because they have a superpower that is just truly remarkable. So scientists have a fancy name for plants, autotrophs. But a much cooler way to think about them is as the master chefs of the entire natural world. I mean, think about it. Animals have to go out and hunt or gather their food. But plants? Nope. They just make their own food from scratch, using the most basic ingredients you can imagine. So how do they pull this off? Well, their secret recipe is both simple and absolutely ingenious. Step 1, they soak up energy straight from the sun with their leaves. Step 2, they grab their ingredients, water from the soil and carbon dioxide right out of the air. And then for the final step, they cook. They use that sun energy to work some real magic, turning those simple ingredients into the sugary food that fuels them. And this incredible process, this secret recipe, it has a name you've probably heard before, photosynthesis. It is literally the engine that powers almost all life on our planet. So there you have it. We've just figured out our first major rule of life. All living things have got to have nutrition.
All right, so nutrition is rule number 1. Check. But what else is written in this biological code? Let's keep hunting for more signs that separate the living from the non-living.
Okay, this next one is a total classic, growth. I mean, just think about it for a second. A rock isn't going to get bigger on its own, right? But living things do. A tiny baby grows into an adult, a little seed becomes a giant tree. Growth is such a clear, undeniable sign of life.
And you can see this perfectly with the journey of a simple bean seed. On day 1, it's just a seed, nothing special. But give it just 2 weeks and bam! It's transformed into a young plant, with roots digging down and leaves reaching up. And this isn't just about getting bigger. It's a highly organized process of becoming more complex, all driven by that internal code we talked about.
All right, another huge sign of life is movement. Now for animals, this is super obvious, right? They walk, they fly, they swim, they get from point A to point B. But what about plants? You might think they don't move, but they absolutely do, just in a different way. They're stuck in one place, sure, but they're constantly moving by growing and turning their leaves toward the sunlight. It's all about getting that energy. So yeah, movement is definitely another rule of life, even if it doesn't always look the same. Okay, so we have gathered some amazing clues on our little expedition so far. We've cracked the code on nutrition, growth, and movement. Now, let's put all the pieces of the puzzle together and reveal the complete secret code of life. So here they are, the essential rules in the code of life. We've already figured out nutrition, growth, and movement, but there are a couple more really crucial ones. First, there's respiration. And that's not just breathing air in and out, it's the chemical process all living things use to get the energy out of their food. And then there's reproduction, the incredible ability to create a whole new generation. If something checks off all of these boxes, then, by definition, it's alive. And here's the part that is just, well, it's mind-blowing. These rules are totally universal. It doesn't matter if you're looking at a teeny tiny ant, a towering redwood tree, or a massive blue whale swimming in the ocean. Every single living thing follows this exact same fundamental set of rules. It's what connects all of us. So we've figured out the rules for spotting all the life that we can see. But that leads to one last, really fascinating question. What about the things we can't see? The worlds of living things that are just too small for our eyes. You know, bacteria, other microbes, they follow these same rules too. But what other incredible secrets are they holding? Well, that's a thought to keep you curious. Thanks so much for joining me.